What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Halloween to all of you. This is another episode of my show. It's called The David Lopez Show, and it's presented to you by Passion Park Entertainment. Passion Park Entertainment, Passion Park ENT. You know what it is. You know what it do, what it is. That was extreme. I'm sorry. Happy Halloween. I am not David Lopez today. I am Tony Stark. It's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna flip this down a little bit. Got my silver shield coming up or whatever. The heart thing. Yeah. I'm Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, so I'm really Robert Downey Jr. on set. So I can just be a rowdy animal, fucking crazy. Where's Piper? Anyways, hope you all are enjoying your weeks. Hope you've had a good time. If you got to celebrate Halloween over the weekend, the cool thing about Halloween falling in the middle of the week is you get to you can pick the weekend to celebrate a little bit, and then on the actual day, if you have a job or whatever, a lot of places allow you to dress up and do some fun stuff. So it kind of breaks up the week a little bit. So I know I get to dress up to go work the bar today, and my girl got to dress up to go do her stuff today too. Excuse me, jeez. Woo! All right, well, today's an awesome episode. It's an old interview. But before we get to that, I got some stuff for my video YouTube folks and just for all my fans on Instagram and everybody who's been keeping up. We're doing that raffle contest. Last week we announced the winner. That was awesome. She got her merch in the mail all the way in Texas. So it's cool to get another fan out there. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate all the support. Everybody who's been entering into the contest is what I meant to say. Couldn't find a word there. So that's really cool. So I drew another winner this week, and I'll probably do at least one more next week. I'm just gonna keep doing them, man. I'm trying to, like I said before, I'm trying to get rid of this merch and get some new stuff. So this week's winner is, well, first off, congratulations to this week's winner, who is Mr. underscore Jimmy Spitz. I don't know why I'm showing it like this, like you guys can even see that, but that's the card that I drew. It's at underscore Mr. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. At Mr. underscore Jimmy Spitz. So congratulations to at Mr. Jimmy Spitz. You have won yourself some free merch. Appreciate you entering into the contest. And I will send that out to you. I will be reaching out to you. And we'll get you that stuff. So thank you. And keep submitting, keep up with us, and we will keep giving out free stuff because I don't know. I like giving out free shit. It's fun. It's fun stuff, right? Oh, all right. So as I mentioned before, this week there's going to be another episode that comes out later this week, but it's a couple of the old interviews. I got a couple in a row here. So today's episode for those of you who are listening on Apple and SoundCloud or wherever you listen to your podcast, we will be heading into the Rob Shepard interview. Rob is a super talented artist, mega talented from Iowa. He lived in Chicago, went to school here for a little bit, and you'll hear more when we talk for an extensive amount of time. It's like an hour. I'm just a big fan of his work. I reached out to him before when I wanted him to perform at one of our showcases because I really liked his stuff, and now I keep up with him all the time just because he's a super fun, uplifting, optimistic dude who creates all the fucking time. And he does film and music stuff, which is, similar to me in that regard. So I admire his work. I think he's really, really talented dude. And I think you're going to enjoy our talk. I listened to a little of it last night to go over to feel for it again because I hadn't remembered this, a couple months old. And yeah, we had a good time. So hopefully we'll be able to get him back and make sure you guys go subscribe and keep up with him. Yeah. So, and then for the people who are going to watch this segment on YouTube, just go to the David Lopez Show videos and you can find the full interview between me and him and you can watch us interact and talk on camera and stuff. All right. Well, that's all that stuff. I'm just going to, briefly talk as I do about what's been happening in the week. First off, we'll stick on Halloween stuff since it's Halloween. I just want to say this. I've seen It. I don't know if you guys have seen the new It, the Stephen King's It. The new one's great. I hadn't really seen the old one, but it's been on TV like every day the past week. And so, long story short, I got to see some of the old one. Wow, man. I don't know if it's just horror, but I feel like a lot of horror, it just doesn't stand up to the test of time very well. It's just hard for that to live up. Like, no offense to those actors, but the acting seems so bad. The jump moments aren't, as herky jerky jump. Obviously, I understand that the CGI and all those things aren't there, so the graphics aren't. It just seemed like dog shit compared to the new ones. I apologize to the old filmmakers, but clearly we've progressed in our filmmaking ways. Now, there are movies from back in the day that obviously do stand the test of time. That one, in my opinion, does not. Does not. I was laughing at a lot of the dramatic scenes, actually. But not to belittle them, it was very successful at the time, so clearly it resonated with some people. But yeah, so I just wanted to briefly say that because it was just on TV again. It was just on, and then I flipped to the new one because the new one was on HBO, and it's like so drastically different. Yeah. Anyways, so I dressed up as an '80s character this weekend at one of my bar gigs. As you can see how I looked here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already saw me post it. I had this great mullet, man. Well, first off, I've dressed up as Wayne from Wayne's World. If most of you know me, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Wayne Campbell. I've dressed up as him like 3 or 4 Halloweens, right? I can't find the wig or the hat anymore. So frustrated. I would have just worn that. So I ended up getting this new mullet wig. I wear it to work. I'm rocking out. I got my jean jacket. I look like a rocker. I had makeup on my eyes. People were laughing at me. Couple women told me I looked attractive with the eyeliner on. So I was intrigued by that. But here, long story short, that I don't know if anybody's ever felt this. I had that wig on for like 4 or 5 hours, and the pressure of it must have just got to me. I had a fucking pounding headache, and I was drinking, like a little bit, not too crazy. I wasn't like wild, but that headache got so bad that I ended up getting nauseous, and I ended up fucking puking. I mean, like I was fine, but I mean later on in the night, I went to the bathroom and had to yak it up. And I was like so confused because I didn't feel sick. Like I kind of recovered after. I was fine. And then I was talking to my my lady who knows a lot more about health and all these things than I would, and more about the brain than me. And she told me this really interesting thing about how your brain in the back, you have those two little bumps that kind of like, it's like a hitch in your head, or at least in mine for sure. I think it's everybody. In the back of your head, there's like a little hitch there. I don't know exactly. I sound like an idiot when I try to relay this information, but she said something about too much pressure on that area back there can cause like headaches, and that headaches that do induce nausea and things like that. And I thought that was interesting because women who wear, headbands for their hair, or guys who are wearing headbands playing basketball, I mean, it's a little different because you don't have the weight. She said the real issue was having the pressure there and then the weight on top of it. Not that wigs are that heavy, but it is some extra weight that you're not used to. I mean, a woman carrying around a bunch of hair who has a lot of hair, that's different. She's used to that, I guess. I sound like a damn idiot. Anyways, I just wanted to warn all you dressing up. If your wig is really bothering your head, you start to feel nauseous or something like that, maybe just take it off for a little bit, and you might recover. Take it off, drink a little bit of water, smoke a little ganji. Now, that's not technically what the doctor ordered, but if you call me the doctor, that's what I'm ordering. You dig. So yeah, that's my, there's, the D-Lo Show's Halloween advice for the week. Stope. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the Bears. We got another W this weekend against the hurting New York Jets. They are not doing so well, but that was a needed victory for us. Moves us to 4-3. And this weekend we got the Buffalo Bills. And Peterman is starting. They just said Peterman's going to start. I will take that. Take that all day. Excuse me. It's the biggest road favor we've had as far as point spread goes since the Arizona Cardinals game in 2006, where we came back. That's the Dennis Green game where he's like, they are who we thought they were. Crown they ass. You want to crown them? Crown they ass. That's That's that year, and we actually didn't cover the spread that year, but we did get that W. That shit was crazy. We didn't score an offensive touchdown in that comeback, and we won. Wow. Hester, the man. So that's the last time we've been that favored. So we looked to be able to get a W this weekend. Don't want to overlook that, but it's looking pretty good for the Bears. Khalil Mack rested this past weekend. Hopefully he gets to rest again, and we get the W because that would be a double whammy. But the big news in the NFL and stuff was all the trade deadline stuff. And so I watched that Packers-Eagles game, or Packers-Rams game, excuse me. Packers really had a chance at winning that. And then, for those of you who know, they were down by 2. Ball was kicked off to them. Ty Montgomery, for some reason, decides to return the ball out of the end zone with 2 minutes left, and he fumbles. Doesn't even give the best quarterback in the history a chance to get a game-winning field goal with 2 minutes, which most people just deem as, yeah, that's going to happen. Like, it's just like 100%. Now, it's not 100%, but still, that was a very dumb move by him. He got traded the next fucking day or 2 days later. Just got traded like that. Like, Rodgers makes those calls. Like, get him out of here. Get him out of town. But the other trades, the Amari Cooper got traded to the Cowboys. They look like an idiot because they gave up a first-rounder. And then 2 days later, Golden Tate gets traded from the Lions to the Eagles for a third-rounder. Or was that? Yeah, to the Eagles, right? Yeah, and then Demaryius Thomas to the Texans. I believe that is what happened there. So that's interesting stuff in the world of the NFL. But all I got to say is, go Bears! Keep this going. We can push it to 5-3. That would be wonderful. And I really like having, at least one good team in the city currently playing. The Hawks are struggling, and I don't know the Hawks' exact record, so I'd be lying if I said I knew too much about that right now. But I don't think they're where we are used to having them, currently speaking. And this will bring me to my next point. What I was waiting to get to was basketball stuff, because as we know, the Bulls are not, they're kind of still in a rebuild. Some people thought they might, nab that 8th playoff spot this year, but very unhealthy without Lowry playing right now and a couple other guys. And even if he was, I don't think that. I think we overshot this team. But I don't really have too much in depth to talk about their game by game. But what I want to briefly mention is that boy Klay Thompson from the Golden State Warriors. On Monday night, he hit 14 threes here in Chicago. I'm mad at myself because I didn't get tickets to go to the game. I didn't even notice the last second that they were on the schedule here this early in the season. I would have tried to go. But yeah, he hit 14 threes, breaking the NBA record that was set by his teammate, his fellow Splash brother, Steph Curry. He was 10 for 13 from the three-point line in the first half. They had 92 points in the first half. Now, that is just ridiculous. I mean, of course, look, the Bulls were unmatched. I don't even think anybody thought the Bulls weren't going to get blown out. The assumption was the Bulls were going to get blown out. I knew that. But 92 points in the first half. It was like I don't even know what the total was, but he had 14 threes. The second half was just him trying to break the record. So that was, just trying to get open shots for him. Super cool spectacle, but it sucks that the Bulls are kind of just that laughing stock you do that against now. They're trying to get that running gun offense, with Hoiberg, and frankly, that's where the offense is. I mean, that's where the NBA is geared towards anyways. The point total is just way up. But we don't have the talent to be doing that. And you got to play some defense. And granted, I know the Warriors are one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen. But I don't know. You got to do something. Anyways, the Clay thing is super impressive, man. If you hit 14 threes in 48 minutes and you're blowing a team out, and this is what I heard somebody say to even make it, to try to give some more credit to Clay was, look, you're up by 30 or 40. Now, look, he went 10 for 13 in the first half. The second half, he went 4 for 11, I think, because I think he finished 14 for 24. 4 for 11 is not bad. It's not, I mean, you know what I mean? It's not great either, but it's not the worst. But to still have the focus when you're up 30 to just be geared in, I'm going to hit these shots, I'm going to do that. You still have to do that. You still have to focus. It's so easy when you're up by 20 or 30 to kind of take the night off, the rest of the night off, and relax back. But he was focused. So you got to give some credit there. Because I saw some little hate backlash, maybe not hate, but just bringing the record down, saying how, well, he took 24 threes. Who can ever do that? Yeah, but he hit 14, great percentage. And to me, bigger point is, what does that even do for you? That like saying that, limiting his or minimizing his record. Like what is the benefit of saying that? The only benefit would be if you held the previous record and you felt like, well, if you held the previous record in a previous era, then I feel like your disdain could draw over a little bit because you could be like, it doesn't match up. So if I remember correctly, I believe Kobe and Vince Carter might have tied the record, which was like, I think at one point it was 11. I believe it was like 9 and then 10 and then 11. Now, I should look this up to make sense. I'm almost positive that Vince Carter held the record once, Kobe Bryant held the record once, and I'm pretty sure former Chicago Bull and Toronto Raptor Danielle Marshall held the record. Just hitting, if those of you who remember Danielle Marshall, just sitting in the corner hitting those threes. It's like this 6'10" big guy who would just be his corner three was money. Pretty sure he hit 11 in a game. And those guys were in an era where you didn't shoot 24 threes in a game, where teams didn't shoot nearly as many threes, and where they weren't averaging 130 points a game. So though I could see a little more disdain from those guys being like, yo, if I would have played it nowadays day, like I would have hit 15 threes. Like think about Reggie Miller in today's game. Reggie's hitting 16 threes in a game. Now, I mean, maybe Reggie would still do like the 12 or 13 thing, but he would catch fire. He caught crazy fire. I don't think anybody's a better shooter than Steph Curry, and he's been, he's hit 13. So the difference between like Reggie and Steph and those guys, Reggie could create a little bit, but nobody that can shoot nearly as good as Steph can create even in the hemisphere of Steph. Like he is the best shooter that can also create his own shot ever. He has to be. The only dude who like I could think of, who a lot of people don't know, but now that you do probably from the big three, is that Sharif Abdur. What's his name? He was on the Nuggets. God damn it! I feel like an idiot. Somebody correct me. The short guard. He could really create and he could pop from far back. He played with Shaq at LSU. Can't remember his name. But anyways, yeah. Super skill talk. And staying in the NBA, the Rockets are 1-5. Rockets are 1-5. Oh shit! Early in the season, a lot to go. Chris Paul's been out with suspension, but I don't know if they're hitting the panic button, but they're worried. I mean, they offered 4 first-rounders for Jimmy Butler last week, and a lot of people were deeming that as Daryl Morey hitting the panic button. Kind of so, but I do understand that they're saying Daryl Morey's just betting on himself. If it's the next 4 first-rounders for a team like the Houston Rockets, for the next 4 years, that first-round pick should never be above the 23rd pick. You know what I mean? Like, they're always going to be in that top 7, 8 record-wise. Excuse me. So, it's probably a good deal. I mean, you probably have a better chance at winning the championship that year with Jimmy Butler than you do, I don't know when else. So, I think if they would have taken it, probably a good deal. But the Timberwolves are sticking with Jimmy right now. It looks like Tibbs isn't putting up with anything. Oh, all right. Well, that was a fun little NBA talk. I could ramble on about basketball for a while. I'm gonna have to have a sports guest on one time where I could just have a full on long sports talk where we can kick it and talk shit about sports and stuff. We'll have to do that sometime. Well, if you want that, how about that? If you're a fan and you are interested in that, just let me know. And then jumping back to the entertainment world where I currently reside as far as my career goes and what I do and what I'm in this bitch doing. Well, first off, I want to say if you guys are free in Chicago this Friday, November 2nd, 2 artists who have been on this show, on this podcast, and they're friends of mine and very talented artists, Varsity and Austin Fillmore. Both those guys, if you listen to the show, you know who they are. I've done a lot of work with them. They're the homies. They are performing at Emporium this Friday. Here's a flyer. It is a tribute show for Mac Miller. So it's a lot of the money, I believe, goes to the charity. It goes to a good cause. So if you can come out support that, it looks like they're getting a huge turnout. Excuse me, and I'm excited to go to that. So that should be fun. So yeah, make sure you go check them out. Varsity's been on. He was on my last album on Direct Deposit. If you heard "Man on Fire," that track, Varsity's on there. Austin Fillmore was in my web series So Much More. Also, I do have a unreleased track that me and Austin did together that I think is going to make my new album So Much More too. If not, we'll figure out a way to get it to see the light of day. But we do have a unreleased track. So shout out to those guys. Make sure you go check them out. As far as I go, I had a session earlier this week with Rose Red, who is a very talented singer from Chicago. So I was glad to get that. It looks like we got some more work coming. So we're going to keep doing that. And then I'm almost done with this song that means so fucking much to me. I can't remember if I mentioned it last week. But I've been really working on this song that just means a lot to me. Long story short, there's a sample from the first song I ever wrote. Which was 2011. It was a poem, and I was able to take some of that audio from there and sample it a little bit and use it, and means a lot to me. Just it's a meaningful record, so we'll see whether or not I make it a single or anything like that. But that's just to keep you in the loop. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the album that's coming together, and I keep saying that every time. But I love making music, guys, and I love that I have this option as the podcast as a platform, and that you know whether or not it's a bajillion listeners or not, like there are like people are listening, and I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of you guys, and I really appreciate all you guys who are tuning in. It means a bunch to me that you guys are willing to listen to me, listen to these interviews, and listen to some of the career updates that I'm able to give you. And while in the background, I can still work on my art and make my music, and then I can just come here and talk to you guys and get closer, and it just means a lot. I really I feel lucky to be an artist in this time where there's so many variations of options for me to get my stuff out and release my creativity. So it means a lot. I gotta stop talking because you guys probably want to hear this interview. So for those of you who are listening to the audio, here is my boy Rob Shepard coming up right after this. For those of you who are watching this video here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. If you haven't seen the interview, go to the playlist containing the David Lopez show that's going to pop up right here at the end. And go to episode number 15, and you'll see me and Rob talking in the studio here, the Passion Park studio. So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, tell your friends, do all that stuff. Everything helps the visibility of the podcast, and it means the world to me. Congratulations to this week's raffle winner. There will be another one next week, so make sure to enter the contest. I will be messaging people on Instagram to try to make sure that happens, and you get a chance to win some free merch. You know what? I'm done. Tony Stark out. Holla. Appreciate you guys. One love. Blah. Why did I do that? I don't know. What's going on with my life?
I wonder if I could have my own show. Wait, but what would I do with my own show?